Hi, good afternoon. Sean Taylor again checking in from Barcelona with an update on my channel against the issues with our Norton V4SS Generation 1 bikes. Now in the week, Robert Henshaw, effectively without any form of visual inspection at an individual bike level, condemned all of the current bikes with owners as being unfit for use, bikes that they will not work on, bikes they will not remediate, bikes they will allow owners to lose their investment value. In collective terms, that's 2.4 million or £44,000 per bike owned. One poor chap has two, so that's an £88,000 loss. By the strike of a pen, Robert Henshaw is wiping out. And again, that's without any form of visual inspection against these bikes. Now let's look at the defects. 35 in total have been declared, although we're questioning, is this the entire list? Because what we're seeing here, apart from a couple of major items relating to frame and swinging arm, we're not seeing a clear justification for writing off 2.4 million of customer investment. Now, those defects can be broken into two groups, engine and gearbox and other parts. So let's just look at the engine and gearbox issue. So 16 defects declared, which is 46% of the defects announced. This is the same engine that's moving into the Generation 2 bike. So there's not one single defect that's not being resolved. There's not one single defect that's not being engineered out. There's not one single defect that cannot be remediated in the Generation 1 bikes. So there's 46% of the issue for the Generation 1 owners resolved there and then. Then we have the 54%, the 19 defects left over. Now, one of those is a simple oil change. Others relate to simple items like a calibration issue on the ABS module, a throttle body jamming open, a tail light with an issue with the patch lead, or there's a battery earthing issue as well. But these are easy fixes. These are simple fixes that any responsible automotive manufacturer can address should they choose to. Now, there are some other more worrying ones. For example, the fuel tank could leak, which in theory could cause a fire. The frame, they're saying, could actually have a fatigue, a weld fatigue, and there could be cracks in the swinging arm. Now, those are things that need to be investigated. Those are things that may not present on every bike. Those things that the bikes need to be taken away, stripped down, evaluated, and each bike needs to actually have a score against these defects. For example, does mine actually have a cracked swinging arm? Does mine actually have weld fatigue? Does mine actually have a leaking fuel tank? I don't believe it has any of those, not that I've seen evidence of. Now, I know I've got a rear brake problem, and I know I've got a cosmetic problem because the wing brake keeps falling off. But there are things that can be fixed. But why aren't Norton addressing these? Because clearly a lot of these things, almost half of them, they're having to do because of engine and gearbox. There's, I would say, of the remaining 18, I would say at least 12 to 14 of those are simple fixes that can be addressed should Norton choose to. And when you distill it down, it's around engine and swinging arm, swinging arm and frame, where the major concerns are. Now, they're two components that can be changed if Norton choose to. But at the moment, they're choosing to abandon the owners. They're choosing to cause an individual loss of £44,000 per bike to people who can't afford to sustain the loss. A lot of people sold the only motorcycle they had and borrowed again to buy this dream bike, which has turned into an absolute bloody nightmare. Now, Norton, unless you're not being entirely truthful with us, why are you keeping these bikes off the road? Is there something more inherently flawed with this bike you're not sharing? If so, you have a moral responsibility to, because people are still riding these bikes. People are still taking risks on these bikes. If there's something more material you're not sharing and that could cause an accident, you are equally as responsible as the person getting on that bike for that accident. Please, either fix our bikes or be honest with us. Personally, I don't believe there's nothing that's not within your control to fix. I ask you to address these issues and treat owners fairly. If you expect to build a customer base without putting the Generation One V4SS back on the road, you're utterly delusional. Nobody is going to trust a manufacturer who's wiped out 2.4 million of customer investment in a current model you're seeking to relaunch. They will never buy a bike where the Generation 1 was so inherently defective, you wrote off every single bike produced. You have the same designer. You have the same engine. If you want to restore confidence in your brand and you want to drive sales to your brand, restore the V4SS Generation 1 to the road. It is in your capability, it is in your gift to do. Please do so. As always, thanks for listening, folks. Please subscribe. Please give me your feedback. Let's get these bikes back on the road. Thank you. Bye for now.